Sian Cuffy-Young, and we're going to speak about a very, very important initiative that she has started. Now, she's the founder of Transforming Environmental Education Successfully, also known as T.E.E.S, and she is also the founder of the CL Environmental Services Limited. So let's talk about some of the things that you are doing.
Okay, thank you, Carrie, for having me this morning. And I go either way, so I had fun with the mix-up, so no worries there. No worries there at all. But so as you said, I am the managing director of SIAL Environmental Services Limited, and
right.
SIAL is a for-profit social enterprise. I take every opportunity to talk about social entrepreneurship because normally the model that is recognized in Trinidad and Tobago is the non-profit version of
right.
social entrepreneurship. So you're doing a social
good,
yes.
social work, but
yes, but it doesn't mean that you can't make money. Correct,
right,
correct.
Right.
So I am in the for-profit space of social entrepreneurship, and I am also the founder of a non-profit / hybrid type organization called T.E.E.S, Transforming Environmental Education Successfully. And the goal of T.E.E.S is to create what I call a sustainable school program for environmental education, because how we educate right now, somebody comes in, gives a lecture, and then they disappear. Then you don't hear about them after that.
The question is, how does it impact the ones who the lecture is being given to? Is
Correct.
it something that is retained or not? And
Correct.
how do you remedy that? And
that is the purpose of creating an entire school program. So the entire school gets involved, not just a particular class.
Right.
And what happens is that they engage in activities every single day or every single week.
How do you go about getting them to engage?
Okay, so what we do is that we have 4 tenets of the program. Waste is one of them, volunteerism, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So we have activities with them, also some competitions, because they like competitions, right? They like to compete against each other. So we have those 4 tenets, and in those programs, they will now be able to have different activities. So let's say they're in the waste management tenant. So we're going to do something about recycling, or we're going to do something about how we can better use plastics. Is there, we can look at alternatives and so on. So that is the way that we are approaching our environmental education program in schools. As I said, it's not new to the world, it's just new to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, it's new to Trinidad and Tobago
yes.
because we do not have a culture of, recycling, for instance, or looking for different ways of waste disposal or waste management.
Correct. Recycling in Trinidad and Tobago is voluntary. It is not mandatory,
right? Because
there's no legislation just yet that exists. Right now, the waste management rules is in draft, and public comment is invited. So I always tell people, I'm not giving 2 cents worth, I'm going to give $1 worth of comments.
Right.
And then we also have, you have the national waste recycling policy, you have the deposit refund, which is often referred to as the beverage container bill, where a value is going to be placed on beverage containers. They're already placed on glass because you don't see glass anywhere. It's very rare that we'll see glass, right?
Even to the point where even on the beach you see people picking up glass bottles.
That's right, because there's a value attached.
Right.
Correct, but there is no value yet attached to plastics. So if you were to drink your water, for instance, most people, their automatic reaction is to just dispose of that.
Right, single use.
Exactly. And that is a direction that we want to move away from as well, because we have a lot of our sister and brother islands that have been taking initiatives, but I am very pro-recycling. If we can, because when plastics were created, they were created because there was a lot of deforestation happening at that time. And there were a lot of forests being cut down, a lot of trees were being lost. So plastics became the holy grail.
Right.
But now we have the issue of plastics is so prevalent in our environment. What are we going to do with it? So in Trinidad and Tobago, I was on a panel yesterday, actually.
A panel for what?
A panel discussion with the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, where we talked trash to the business community.
Because, like that, trash.
Right? Because one of the services that we provide as SIAL is that we conduct waste audits of companies. So you would hear of energy efficiency. You've heard of that, yes?
Right.
But waste efficiency is new. They operate on the same principle in terms of the reduction of the amount of the resource that is being used, in that case energy, but in this case we're looking at waste. How can you as a business reduce the amount of waste that you generate? Because we have many businesses, quite large, that generate huge amounts of garbage.
So
yes.
what is one of the key was one of the key factors involved in regards to reducing that carbon footprint or reducing that waste output?
Right. So I often tell clients that they have to start asking themselves questions. Now, what happens is because we have the take, make, waste strategy, we take the raw material, we make a product, and we automatically throw away. So what we're trying to do is break up between the make and the waste strategy. So what I tell people is that you have to start asking yourselves different questions. Okay, so we've created this bottle, we've created this Tetra Pak, which is the juice and milk boxes.
Right.
What are we going to do with it? Can we do something else? Can we think about if it can be packaged in something else? Because what happens with Tetra Paks, especially because they're made from multiple layers.
Yeah, that's right, because they are lined with plastic.
Right, so
have,
you see the metal on the inside, the silver on the inside is aluminum, the outside, there's a percentage of plastic and paper involved. So you have three things in one item.
No.
Is there a way that we can reduce that to make it easier to be recycled?
All right, well, that question and many more that you could definitely have to answer for us in a subsequent program, or if the public reaches out to you.
Yes.
And again, you are the founder of the CL Environmental Services Limited and co-founder of Transforming Environmental Education Successfully.
Thank you for having me, Carrie.
Now, Sian Cuffy-Young, thank you for all you've shared.
Thank you so much.
And it has been a pleasure.
Likewise.